Good morning. I am Drill Sergeant Leader Andrew Yost, your Master of Ceremony. We would like to extend a warm welcome to our distinguished guests, families, and friends to the United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy graduation ceremony for Class 006-25. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the entrance of the official party, the invitation given by Chaplain Poe, and the playing of our national anthem.
Please join me in prayer, or otherwise pray, or meditate on faith, tradition, and silence. Almighty and gracious God, we gather here this morning in gratitude to celebrate and recognize the great achievements of these men and women who have sacrificed so much to lead, train, and inspire the next generation of the U.S. Army soldiers. Through discipline, endurance, and unwavering commitment, they have successfully completed this rigorous journey to becoming drill sergeants. For that, we give you many thanks. Please continue to assist them in always upholding the values of duty, respect, and selfless service, so that their trainees will be inspired to defend our nation with courage, honor, and integrity. Sustain, protect, and guide them all. Bless and support also their families and mentors, leaders, and subordinates with wisdom, strength, and perseverance, so that victory may start here with these new drill sergeants stepping forward in faith. In your holy name I pray. Amen.
Please be seated.
Hey! Hey!
Since 1964, drill sergeants have been responsible for training our Army's volunteer fighting force. Fort Jackson is home to the only Drill Sergeant Academy in our Army, and is responsible for providing drill sergeants to every training center across the initial military training enterprise. Since its inception, the purpose of the United States Army Drill Sergeant Program has been to transform sergeants into drill sergeants, who in turn have the responsibility to transform into soldiers our national treasure, the thousands of American young men and women who have volunteered to answer the call of a grateful nation. The job of the drill sergeant is one of a professional trainer, coach, mentor, and leader. This is not an easy or simple job, and it comes with sacrifices that each drill sergeant must make in order to perform this extremely important mission. Those who are graduating today will spend the next 2 to 3 years on the trail, training the next generation of our Army. The phrase, "on the trail," comes from the frontier days when cattle were driven from California to Colorado to be marketed. The original drill sergeants coined this phrase because of the similar process of moving soldiers from one place to another with few problems or loss along the way. There is a continued effort to move drill sergeants to that high degree of excellence and expertise for which they are known. The drill sergeant course is both stressful and challenging. The 9 weeks of training are broken down into 12-hour days, adding up to 446 hours of instruction. This training is a privilege reserved for the best of the best. Only the top 10% of all sergeants, Army-wide, are eligible to attend the drill sergeant course. Not all sergeants complete this difficult period of training. On January 29th, 121 candidates arrived. During the course, sergeants were removed for various reasons, resulting in the 106 that are graduating here today. Those graduating represent disciplined, motivated, physically fit drill sergeants who exemplify the drill sergeant creed. All drill sergeants truly are the proud example of our Army and will undoubtedly transform the next generation of civilian volunteers into soldiers that are fully capable of defeating any enemy on today's modern battlefield. A drill sergeant is the most challenging and rewarding assignment a non-commissioned officer will ever experience. They must transform civilians into soldiers and prepare those soldiers to fight and win in today's complex world. Ladies and gentlemen, identified by their distinctive headgear are the drill sergeant leaders responsible for the training and mentoring of today's graduating class. Drill sergeant leaders instruct the course in small groups of 20 candidates on average. They are highly motivated, professional, and seasoned drill sergeants who have a minimum of 1 year experience in the initial entry training environment from any of the 4 training centers and advanced individual training locations. They were hand-selected to serve as drill sergeant leaders as a result of demonstrating expert leadership, mastery of warrior tasks and battle drills, and consistently performing at the top 1% of their peers. In addition, all have completed the TRADOC Drill Sergeant Leader Certification Program. Please join me in a round of applause for their hard work and dedication. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commandant of the United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy, Command Sergeant Major Joshua R. Vital.
Woo! Here we go. Hey, we do everything here at the Drill Sergeant Academy. Motivation. It's not very loud. You got more loud for me? Hey, we do everything here with motivation. Oh, there we go. All right. And so you're going to need some motivation from you all this morning, right? So, good morning. Good morning. Okay, it's a good start. Getting warmed up, just like the mic, but we're going to try it again. Good morning. Good morning. All right. Now we can train. Distinguished guests, families and friends, thank you for joining us today for the Drill Sergeant Academy graduation ceremony for class 00625. From the attendance today, it is clear these drill sergeants have amazing families and friends supporting them. What a great day to be a soldier, and an even better day to be here, surrounded by the future of the United States Army, represented by the Army's newest drill sergeants. The fact that the United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy, well done, Immortals, is the gold standard for NCO development and cadre certification is clearly on display today. My name is Command Sergeant Major Josh Vital. I am the Commandant, proudly serving alongside the most highly motivated, well-trained drill sergeants in the United States Army. A drill sergeant is the standard bearer for the United States Army and the very epitome of what we expect of a soldier. As a standard bearer, they live the Army values, exemplify the war ethos, and are guardians of the Army profession. Drill sergeants are responsible for coaching, teaching, motivating, inspiring, and mentoring the future of the Army as they transform them from civilians to combat-ready soldiers. A typical day as a drill sergeant starts well before dawn and ends after sundown. Drill sergeants are the first impression for every trainee and all that they know of the Army. They will emulate you, drill sergeant. Being a drill sergeant is one of the most demanding and difficult jobs in our Army. It is also one of the most rewarding. How critical a drill sergeant is to our Army cannot be understated. Nor can the sacred trust that is being bestowed on you today. American families all across this great land entrust you with their prized possession, the flower of American youth, their children. The future of America is being placed in your care for the most formative time in their Army careers, certainly. But I would also say their lives. Your impact will last a lifetime. Just as you remember your drill sergeants, so will the soldiers you train remember you. Will you be remembered for how you invested in them, believed in them when they didn't believe in themselves, always enforced the standard, and challenged them to keep going? Or will you be remembered for something else? Class 00625, congratulations on accomplishing this daunting challenge. You met or exceeded every standard. You surmounted every obstacle. But the challenge is just beginning. Enjoy the time between now and when you report. Spend some time with these families. Take time to reflect on the challenge that lies ahead and what you hope to achieve. There will be times when you are tired, hot, cold, hungry, and more. Look to your battle buddies during these times and spur one another along. Your experience as a drill sergeant will be directly impacted by the battle buddies you have and are. The task is great. You're charged with nothing less than training tomorrow's leaders. The Army, the country, and the Constitution are depending on you. All right, Immortals. Guest speaker didn't show up today because the weather has a vote. So what I'm going to do is going to reiterate the hour-and-a-half discussion that we had in the boardroom in about 2 minutes. Hey, team. Hey, we had a great talk. It's going to take these folks right here to help you be successful. And it's clearly going to take the folks surrounding you today, representing your battle buddies, for all the camps, posts, and stations that you go to. It will demand your best, but the reward is immense. You will indelibly write your legacy into the long history of the United States Army. This will be your indoctrination into what it means to be a professional. Most of your careers, many of you have been working in MOS as you chose. Now it's time to do something the Army has said you will do, that the Army needs you to do, and the future of America will depend on your ability to do it. With that, team, I wish you Godspeed. It will be a great ride. Hold on tight.
The Drill Sergeant Academy would like to recognize supporters of the cycle for their exceptional professionalism and dedication to excellence in support of the unit's total mission. Presenting the Supporter Awards is Drill Sergeant Leader Vontez Long. The staff support of the cycle is Sergeant Samantha Leverett for outstanding service and dedication to the cadre of the United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy. Please join me in a round of applause for the Supporter Awardees. Drill and ceremony is the basis for standards and discipline in the initial entry training environment. During the course, the drill sergeant candidates are instructed and assessed on their ability to perform and teach drill and ceremony positions and movements, culminating with a drill and ceremony competition. The squad that displayed the highest level of proficiency is awarded the Drill and Ceremony Trophy to be displayed until the following cycle. For Class 006-25, the Drill and Ceremony competition winner is 6th Platoon, 1st Squad, who was led by Drill Sergeant Blake Cruz. Please join me in a round of applause for the winning squad of the Drill and Ceremony competition. At the Drill Sergeant Academy, it is tradition to appropriately recognize those who distinguish themselves by their outstanding performance. In keeping with this tradition, the following awards are presented. The Drill Sergeant Leader of the Cycle is the Drill Sergeant Leader who displayed the highest contribution to the entire platoon, created an impeccable learning environment, and displayed a standard for all graduating drill sergeants to follow. For Class 006-25, the Drill Sergeant Leader of the Cycle is Drill Sergeant Leader Stephen Williams, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Senior Drill Sergeant Leader Mark Campisi will now present the graduating class their distinctive headgear. Please hold your applause and cheering until the awardees have been acknowledged. The Leadership Award is presented to the candidate who has displayed the highest degree of professionalism and demonstrated sound judgment while performing in leadership positions, and has also achieved honors on the Commandant's list. The Leadership Award recipient is Drill Sergeant Tyler Adcock, Fort Benning, Georgia. The Iron Drill Sergeant Award is given to the candidates who displayed the highest degree of physical fitness during the Iron Drill Sergeant Fitness Test. The male Iron Drill Sergeant Award recipient is Drill Sergeant Andre Hobson, Fort Eisenhower, Georgia. The female Iron Drill Sergeant Award recipient and member of the Commandant's list is Drill Sergeant Dominique Fisher, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Each awardee will be presented with a token of appreciation and support for exceeding the standards while in the course. The Drill Sergeant Academy would like to express sincere gratitude to First Command for donating these awards. Please join me in a round of applause for the awardees. The following drill sergeants have exceeded the course standards, demonstrated exceptional physical fitness, and maintained a grade point average in the top 20% of their graduating class. For these achievements, they are rightfully placed on the Commandant's list. Drill Sergeant Christopher Hannum, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Caleb Hunt, Monterey, California. Please join me in a round of applause for the Commandant's list. Ladies and gentlemen, the following drill sergeants are graduates of Class 006-25. Please hold your applause and cheering until the last drill sergeant is acknowledged.
Drill Sergeant Aaron Adams, 108 Training Command.
Drill Sergeant Javier Ballester, Monterey, California.
Drill Sergeant Adam Beeland, 108 Training Command.
Drill Sergeant Gustavo Blood, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant John Brashaw, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Christopher Brown, 108 Training Command.
Drill Sergeant Isaac Brown, Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Drill Sergeant Hunter Buchanan, 108 Training Command.
Drill Sergeant Jesus Carrillo, 108 Training Command. Drill Sergeant Stephen Cavazos, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Nancy Chagoya, Fort Houston, Texas.
Drill Sergeant Brittany Clark, Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Drill Sergeant Ryan Clark, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Matheus Correia, Rio de Janeiro, Brasil. Drill Sergeant Blake Cruz, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Ana Cuevas, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Will Curry, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant David Gage, Fort Payne, Georgia. Drill Sergeant John Dallas Reyes, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Harrigan Ellis, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Joseph Ennis, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Simone Phoenix Clayhorn, Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Drill Sergeant Nick Brown, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Sergeant Alexander Coleman, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Kay Harris, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Natalie Hurd, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Megan Hyatt, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Greg Ho, Fort Benning, Georgia. Drill Sergeant Jacob Hood, Fort Benning, Georgia. Drill Sergeant Sammy Hopkins, 108 Training Command. Drill Sergeant Jonathan Johnson, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Robert Joyner, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Shane Jones, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Andrea Jordan, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Reuben Garner, Fort Littlewood, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Hal Hosel, 108 Training Command.
Drill Sergeant Philip Riava, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Red Sergeant Abdallah Amawi, 108, California.
Drill Sergeant Kyle Lanfry, Buffalo, New York.
Drill Sergeant Vincent Latanzi, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Stephanie Diatoma, Fort Benning, Georgia. Drill Sergeant Emily Linebaugh, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Kevin Laird, 108 Training Command.
Drill Sergeant Kevin Melansiga, Fort Lindenwood, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Nakiba Lou, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Nathan Maddox, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Levi Martin, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Austin McClay, 108 Training Command.
Drill Sergeant Alan McCormick, Fort Sam Houston, Texas.
Drill Sergeant Kobe McMillan, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Kenya Medrano Rodriguez, Fort Leonard Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Michael Mincy, Fort Leonard, Missouri.
Ian Middle, Sykesville, Maryland.
Drill Sergeant Marla Molina, Gulfport, Mississippi.
Drill Sergeant Edward Montgomery, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Matthew Morales, Fort Eustis, Virginia.
Drill Sergeant Michael Morris, Fort Eustis, Virginia.
Drill Sergeant Danica Netto, Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Drill Sergeant Justin Wynn, 108 Training Command.
Drill Sergeant Killian Dowry, 108 Training Command. Drill Sergeant Michael O'Hara, 108 Training Command.
Drill Sergeant Anil Orlov, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Etiquette Taylor, 108 Training Command. Drill Sergeant Christopher Pulowski, Fort Benning, Georgia. Drill Sergeant Justin Phillips, St. Louis, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Markel Pinky, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Dakota Wolfson, Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Drill Sergeant Beyonce Riggs, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Raymond Rivera Roman, Fort Sam Houston, Texas.
Drill Sergeant Hope Rodden, Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Drill Sergeant Heidi Rodriguez, Fort Sam Houston, Texas.
Drill Sergeant Hector Ruiz, Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Drill Sergeant Kevin Risky, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Marisol Sanchez, Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Drill Sergeant Raven Silverhead, Monterey, California. Drill Sergeant Beth
Ulloa, 108, Training Command.
Drill Sergeant Clayton Van Fossen, Fort Leonard, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Donna Vaness, Fort Greg Adams, Virginia.
Drill Sergeant Jacob Vargas, Fort Leonard, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Antonio Vasquez, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Nick Wallace, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Joshua Washington, Fort Greg Adams, Virginia.
Drill Sergeant Denzel Watson, Fort Samuelson, Texas.
Drill Sergeant Wendy William Holmes, Fort Benning, Georgia. Drill Sergeant Tracy Williams Meekins, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Cameron Wright, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Oscar Zuniga, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a round of applause for the Army's newest drill sergeant. You have become what you set out to be, a drill sergeant in the United States Army. The Drill Sergeant Creed is your declaration of your unshakable commitment to the ideals this nation was founded upon and will continue to guarantee. At this time, drill sergeants, past and present, please stand as the Drill Sergeant Leader of the Cycle, Drill Sergeant Leader Williams, leads the graduating class in the reciting of the Drill Sergeant Creed. The Drill Sergeant Creed is not a creed for every non-commissioned officer in the Army. The honor and privilege is given to these non-commissioned officers to transform America's sons and daughters from civilians to soldiers, to fight and win the wars of this great nation.
Heads, loud, defend! I am the drill sergeant. I will assist each individual in their efforts to become a highly motivated, well-disciplined, physically and mentally fit soldier, capable of defeating any enemy on today's modern battlefield. I will instill pride in all I train, pride in self, in the Army, and in country. I will insist that each soldier meets and maintains the Army standards of military bearing and courtesy, consistent with the highest traditions of the U.S. Army. I will lead by example, never requiring a soldier to attempt any task I would not do myself. But first, last, and always, I am an American soldier, sworn to defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. I am a drill sergeant.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the Army song and remain standing for the departure of the official party. drill sergeants of classes 006-25 exit the building. You will be able to join them shortly.
Hard, hard. Forward, hard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. Here we go.
6-2 leads the way.
Come on over.
Come on over.
War not over.
The war's not over.
Put your weapon next to mine.
So put your weapon next to mine.
And we'll shoot 'em on down the line.
And we'll shoot 'em on down the line.
I shot and served one.
I shot and served you one.
Did that just for fun.
Did that one just for fun.
Put your weapon next to mine.
Put your weapon next to mine.
And we'll shoot 'em on down the line.
And we'll shoot 'em on down the line.
Come on over.
Come on over.
War not over.
The war's not over.
Put your weapon next to mine.
So put your weapon next to mine.
And we'll shoot 'em on down the line.
And we'll shoot 'em on down the line.
I shot and served you two.
I shot and served you too.
Did that just for you.
Did that one just for you.
Put your weapon next to mine.
Put your weapon next to mine.
And we'll shoot 'em on down the line.
And we'll shoot 'em on down the line.
Come on over.
Come on over.
War not over.
The war's not over.
Put your weapon next to mine.
Put your weapon next to mine.
And we'll shoot 'em on down the line.
And we'll shoot 'em on down the line.
Up in the morning out of my rack.
Up in the morning out of the wreck.
Greeted come mine early attack.
Greeted the mine early attack.
Sergeant rushes me up to town.
Sergeant rushed me off the town.
But I don't need it anyhow.
But I don't need it anyhow.
Hello, hello, infantry.
Oh, hail, hail, infantry.
Queen of battle, queen of battle,
Queen of battle, queen of battle, queen of battle, follow me.
nothing in this world is free.
For nothing in this world is free.
I joined the infantry.
That's why I joined the infantry.
C-130 in the sky.
C-130 in the sky.
All will jump and some will die.
All will jump and some will die.
Off the battle we will go.
Off to battle we will go.
To live or die, hell I don't know.
To live or die, hell I don't know.
Hello, hello, infantry.
Hail, hail, infantry.
Queen of battle, follow me.
Queen of battle, follow me.
For nothing in this world is free.
Nothing in this world is free.
I join the infantry.
Why join the infantry?
1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4.
6-2 leads the way.
1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4.
6-2 leads the way.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our graduation ceremony. On behalf of the Commandant and cadre of the United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy and the graduating class, we would like to thank you for your attendance.